Why, hello there, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you are here today, and it's Q4. It's Q4. It's the end of the year, which is crazy to me. So I figure we could talk about some of my plans to lock in for Q4. But before we even get any further, if you're already here, you might as well subscribe if you are not subscribed already. We talk about a lot of things around here. We got some vlogs going on. We like to travel. We talk about goals like we're talking about today and so much more. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're fancy, turn on that notification button too, so you know when I drop my next YouTube video. Honestly, I don't even want to make this video that long, but I want to give you some context. So me personally, I'm not really someone who is pressured by calendar years or calendar months or calendars in general. So if I feel like there's a timeline that I have to abide by, like I will, but if I don't, I don't. And I don't know, coming off of the summer, I feel just very not disoriented, but I feel like I need a reset. That's what it feels like. It feels like I need a reset. I had a very fun summer. I don't know if it was necessarily giving summer 16, but it came pretty close. But summer 16 was for me, it was outside, 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 outside. And honestly, summer 24 was I'm doing what I want to do. I'm only doing what I want to do, but there's a lot that I want to do. So I'm still outside, but it's stuff that I want to do. So going to Greece and Croatia, going to concerts, the Ashake concert, going to it's just things like that, having people over, hosting, just being outside, going on a lot of dates, and a lot of brand events, 2-3 brand trips. I'm talking about going to Greece and Croatia, but I was in Greece, Croatia, Toronto, Grenada twice. So it was almost like I was never home. And as a result, sometimes routines fall off, sometimes systems fall off. And I'm just all right, I feel like I need to get back in the zone and get back to the state of being that I'm in when I have my life together. Not saying that I didn't have my life together, but I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to feel on top of stuff. And I was outside and I was doing enjoyment this summer. Everyone's reset plan looks differently. And so just as a pro tip, I encourage you to think about how you feel when you feel your best. And your best there can be different standards for best. If your goal is productivity, if your goal is hitting certain goals, how does it feel when you are on track and hitting those goals, and what do you need to do to get to that feeling? Sometimes the routines that we have facilitate us feeling like we are in a position to tackle those goals, feeling like we are in a position where our mind is in the right place, our emotions are in the right place, all of those things. It is really important to think about what it looks like for you to be in a frame of mind or in a space where the things around you are conducive to you hitting those goals. Or it could just be that you still want to be outside, or it could be that your goals are related to building new friendships or traveling or things like that. I think people often associate locking in with locking down and being at home. And though my goals probably fall into that category, it doesn't necessarily have to look like that. So funny enough, one of my major first step to my lock-in for Q4 is to stop being outside. And I don't mean stay at home and don't interact with people. I'm a very social person. I'm a very social being. I like to interact with people. I'm an extrovert that might come off as introverted, but I'm actually very, very extroverted. But the amount of energy, time, money that goes into being outside was taking its toll on me. To give you a bit of an example, and I say this because being an influencer, half of my job is being outside. Half of my job is being at home and creating content, basically from my home. But the other half is going to brand events, interacting with people, getting FaceTime, all of those things. So being an influencer is being outside. It is being outside, going to brand dinners, going to brand events, and my no outside policy also applies to brand events and brand dinners. For the most part, unless it were something like Rihanna Fenty hair event or Beyonce for Sacred or Sir Davis, I don't necessarily think I'm going to be outside unless it is outside of the country for an international brand trip. And I say that because, to give you a sense, if I had an event at 6 p.m., right? Say I had an event at 6 p.m. Here's what my flow for that day or event would look like. Working backwards, most of the time, traffic is so bad in New York, and at this point, it's gonna be bad through the new year. I've just accepted it. So it probably would take me, I just have to budget an hour for travel time. So that means I would need to leave my home by 5 p.m., right? Because it's probably gonna take 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It could take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, I would say. So 5 p.m. is when I need to call my Uber because, you know, you have the time slot, all that type of thing. The time that it takes for an Uber to come, wait time, all that. Cool. That means, so 5 o'clock is when I need to be ready. If I want to film content while I get ready, which oftentimes is what I like to do because I like to take advantage of going outside, I probably will film like a talking video or a makeup related video. So a get ready with me at my vanity. But then I'm also gonna want to film a get dressed with me, like my typical TikTok or reel. So that's 2 different pieces of content. Whenever I do my makeup and film while I do my makeup, it doubles the process. So in process that is an hour long becomes 2 hours. So it'll take me about 2 hours to do my makeup. So that goes from 5 to 3. And then an additional, like say 30 minutes to get dressed on camera to film my outfit, to do my get dressed with me. So that takes us from 3 to 2:30. That doesn't include things like, you know, me showering. So let's be really economical and say that 2 o'clock is when I would hop in the shower. And that it would take me 30 minutes to shower, do my skincare, and do my body care routine. That means from 2 o'clock, that is when I have to get ready. That is when I have to start the process of getting ready for a 6 o'clock event. So from when I wake up at 5, 5:30, maybe 6, depending on when I was out the night before, go to the gym, do my morning routine, all of those things, start work at say 8, 9, I have from 9 to 2 to do work before I automatically switch gears to doing a different type of work before I'm prepping to go outside. The event starts at 6. Most of the time, I'm not gonna be, if it's a sit down dinner, they're not gonna start like actually giving us food until 7. So the first hour will be like a cocktail hour. And I've learned, and sometimes I do skip those little cocktail hours because I'm just like, let's be honest, like I don't have the time or the energy. But 7 o'clock is when we sit down, which means around 9, 9:30 is when we're done. And then I'm back home at around 10, 10:30 if it was an extra fun event or it took pretty long. I get home at 10:30. My entire vanity is a mess because I didn't get to clean it up before I left. My apartment, shoes are everywhere, clothes everywhere, that type of thing. So now I have to clean up and then shower and get ready for bed. I'm not getting into bed until earliest like 11. In which case I would wake up later the next day. But so from 2 to 11, that was essentially a 7-hour from start to finish type of process, not including the fact that I had like maybe an additional 5, 6 hours earlier in the day dedicated to work. Brand events turn my work days take my work days from 7, 8-hour work days to like 12, 13-hour work days. It is the energy. And obviously, like when I had a life coach, we would talk about this, and I like would say like on days that I have brand events, I really shouldn't be doing work because my work is just that brand event and the filming for the brand event and all those things. Mind you, the next day, then we have things like it ends up just being a lot. I do get FOMO sometimes when I see events and I'm like, oh, I could have been there, like da 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 da. But honestly, the toll that it takes on me going to events, going to 2, 3 events a week, it's not sustainable. And honestly, it's cold enough outside for me to be like, yeah, we're not doing this. But I would say the same even applies to social events. Like, I can't remember the last time I went to a party in New York City and genuinely was like, oh my gosh, if I didn't go to this, I would have missed out, like da 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 da. So truthfully, even for parties, I'm just like, I don't know. What it is I just don't really feel like being seen right now. I don't feel like being on the scene. I don't feel like being seen. So I'm very satisfied with the idea of just being at home. So number one, we're staying inside. That was a very long way of saying we're staying inside. My only exception to that rule is hosting. So if someone's hosting something at their home and they invite me, I'm fine to go. I will be hosting events. I'm looking to host a Friendsgiving. I'm looking to, I'm actually looking to have some girls over this weekend just on a casual level, just to catch up, because I feel like I haven't seen everyone since before summer. So hosting is the only exception to being outside, but even in that regard, it's not being outside, it's being in somebody's home. The next part of my lock-in plan is to read and write every single day. I took up reading this summer. Like, it had been a very long time since I had just leisurely read. And because I had a lot of travel, I had the opportunity to do a lot of reading while I was on planes, trains, buses, and ferries. And it reminded me of how much I love reading, but also how much I think I can write. Like, I don't know, this might sound crazy, but like, I feel like one day if I really put my mind to it, could write a novel, and the novel could honestly be based on my life, because the way my life pans out, like, there's so many story times that I have that I could just create a story with and put into a novel, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I love to read. I read 5 books this summer and breezed through them, and I was just like, oh, like, it's actually very possible to read books and to just gain knowledge through that, and to just gain like exposure to new words. Like, I constantly want to be able to learn. So reading every day. It doesn't have to be fiction or nonfiction. There's no guideline or boundary. My Bible doesn't count, because I should be reading my Bible every day. So I want to read like something every day. It could be a newspaper article, a magazine article, something. But I want to be like, I am intentionally reading something. But it's probably going to be fiction books, because like, they make me very happy. And then on the flip side of that, or I guess the flip side of the same coin, writing every single day. I am a writer. I really do think I'm a writer, but I haven't tapped into it enough. And I'm actually supposed to be working on a large written project that like I've been in talks with someone about for like almost a year at this point, or even over a year at this point. And I think I'm just rusty, and I think I just need to, I'm not necessarily afraid, but I'm not creating time for it. That's what it is. I'm not creating time for it. And so the goal of writing every day is to force me to create time for something that I'm supposed to be creating time for. So that's really what it is. It's like, if you have a big goal, you have to create time for it every single day. And so that's what I'm doing by putting writing every day on my list. Like, I'm supposed to be writing. I'm supposed to be working on a writing project. If I'm not putting writing on my calendar every day, how is it gonna get done? How is it supposed to get done? So that's probably another pro tip. Like, if you have a big goal that you're supposed to be working towards over time, you need to put that in your calendar for every single day, or at least you need to create time for it in your calendar. This is related to being outside, but I really want to cut down on the eating out. I naturally don't really eat out too much. However, the brand events are the primary means through which I eat out. Again, having 2 to 3 brand events a week that are all dinners, that means I'm eating dinner outside of my home 2-3 times a week. It's a little bit too much for my liking. It really is. So I want to cut down on eating out. In New York City, people often catch up over dinner, but personally, I thought about it and I was just like, oh, I make food for myself, and I often end up having so much food left over because I don't really eat that much. My portions that I eat aren't that huge. I was like, Annie, let's just invite people over for dinner. Like, if you're making dinner for yourself, be like, hey girl, you want to catch up? Come over for dinner. You don't even got to spend money. I'm cooking. I would have had to cook this food anyways. Come over for dinner. So cutting eating out is a part of my Q4 lock-in plan. And then generally, I need an evening routine reset. I got my morning routine pretty down locked, but I had been slacking, again, of course, because of all the events, because of being outside. I would come home and just be like, wash my face, shower, go to sleep. Trash might still not be taken out. Dishes might still be in the sink. Surfaces might not be wiped down. Like, there's a level of peace that I have when all of those things are arranged and put together. So when I take the trash out, When I wipe down the surfaces, everything is in the dishwasher, candle is lit, place smells good, clothes for tomorrow for the gym are laid out, all of those things. So I'm just really getting back to basics of being like, you're going to sleep by 10:30 at the latest, 10 o'clock to be ideal. If we get earlier, that's even better. You're making sure that everything is in the dishwasher and the dishwasher is running. You are wiping down surfaces and mopping if you need to. You've obviously done your skincare routine and showered and brushed your teeth. So I just need a reset to like be like, let's go back to what the evening routine was, because we let that fall apart. And last but not least, I want to lock in on returning to either some sort of hobbies or lessons. I started driving lessons earlier this year, and because of all the travel I was doing, and also because my driving instructor is such a hot commodity, I really wasn't, I think the last time I had a lesson was maybe May, maybe June. So I don't necessarily have to run back to driving lessons, but just something, whether it's tennis. Horseback riding is actually something that I'm really interested in, and I've looked into it. Like something where like on Saturday morning, my phone is not involved. I'm turning it off. I'm not like broadcasting it like, hey, come with me to do the but I'm still just like enjoying, and I have something for myself in that way. So that doesn't really sound like such a lock-in type of thing, but it's like essentially the goal or the plan is to give myself something that brings me joy, or bring myself something that excites me, or bring myself something that I'm working on that isn't related to content. So that's pretty much it. That sounds like, I was gonna say it sounds like a little, but it probably sounds like a lot, but it actually is not that hard, because it's just like cutting out eating out, staying at home and just locking in, reading and writing every single day, getting back to some hobbies, and getting that evening routine under check, or getting it back in check. That's what I got planned, but let me know what you got planned, because I would love to hear from you. It's time to lock in. It's time to lock in. It's time to lock in, so let's do it for Q4. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to chat it up with you next time. Let me know if there's anything else that you would want to discuss, because you know I love to chit chat, you know I love to talk it up, you know I love to yap, but I can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you again for watching. Bye.